Hello and welcome to the Defford Link circuit on the New Horizon Speedway. This one is the most challenging, the most technical, and the longest circuit of the three. And today I'll be going over some of the tips and tricks I found to make it around the quickest. I spent about 3 hours going through this map, just finding the quicker lines, and because it is the longest and it is the most technical, they're not always the easiest to see. What you are doing pretty much with every checkpoint is lining up so that you're ready to hit the next checkpoint even before you go through the previous checkpoint. So this one, you see I'm going to want to tilt my wing to the left so that I'm perfectly aligned to hit that hole there. And then this one, you're going to want to have your left wing way down. So you don't want to do that, but you want to, when you're done rotating, you want to be pointed up towards this circuit. That whole last section, this section, the next checkpoint, and the checkpoint after it are all from the Rickard Memorial, just a straight copy. So if you were good there, you should be able to master this section here. This is where it stops being the same. So this one, I go way high. Really don't want to go that high, but you do want to be high for this ring. Yeah, you want to go low, you want to go quick, you want to keep your speed up, but we'll get a couple other views of that. This one's pretty tough. If you don't have the right angle on this section, you're going to black out. Just a little sloppy there, but making it. So this little high, this section I cover in good detail in the next section here. It's going to be, there's a lot of time you can gain and lose by doing this section right. You want to make sure you have your speed up all the time. You don't want to be taking really tight corners. You don't want to be going too wide. So this one, it looks good, other than this part right here. I'm way too low. My left wing should have been up a lot higher. There we go. Cut in here. And through this last gate, almost blacking out because I've made such a mistake. And through. So the next one, that one is about 9/10 of a second slower than the quickest one we'll see here next. So, you know, that little mistake on the second last section wouldn't account for everything, but it does count for something. Yeah, so here's a racetrack's pretty much complete now. I think 235, something like that, 238. Okay, so these next four we're going to see here in all four corners of the screen end with a 238 something. The audio is coming out of your top left, and I have a really good first section here from that top left. Rest of them kind of show a little bit sloppy, a little bit making mistakes, but the top left, here's where the problem comes. Right there. Okay, so what I want to talk about is recovering after you make a mistake. So I make a mistake, but I'm not out of the race. For some reason my ship didn't blow up when it should have. You'll see I tilt my wings properly, line up for that hole where those two buildings meet, come tight across, tilt my wing so that I'm perfectly lined up for this section here, just like the Rickard Memorial. Yeah, this one's pretty standard. And I'm not gaining anything on those other three camera angles, but I am maintaining. And sometimes that's all it comes down to, just being as fast as you can be and making up the time on the lines that you know how to run the quickest. So again here, I'm going to be taking this one high and then going very low so that you're perfectly lined up. Now, the other 3 times I did this, I did that section pretty flawlessly, so there wasn't very much time to make up. But you just have to be quick and bide your time. Coming into the next section here. Okay, so here's where we're going to see a couple of printouts, and that's going to be the timing. The far right, we'll say we're 0 seconds, the bottom left was about 2/10 up, and your top left was 1 1/4 seconds up. Now watch them take the corners. I'm keeping my left wing up, not that high, but up itself, rotating and laterally turning at the same time. This keeps me from blacking out and from braining out, but it also keeps me making the perfect lines. And I get myself in the right position here to make an aggressive run on the last checkpoint. And you'll see I've made up almost 1.1 tenths of a second. 1.1 seconds, sorry. And I'm only 17 hundredths of a second behind the fastest guy, which is the bottom right. So, don't give up. Just remember to keep your lines and follow them through. If you want to watch this whole section a couple of times, just mute me and watch the top left run to see exactly why it was quicker, how I kept the lines through all the corners, all the checkpoints, and finally that last checkpoint there just before the drop, on how I kept it tight, but I made sure that I was in the right position so that I wasn't blacking out, wasn't reding out. I could concentrate on making that last rotate just before the drop, and you'll be able to ace that section there. So here we're going to move on to a pretty good lap. One of the things I found myself doing was just rotating a different way. So like you'll notice on all the other ones before that I was rotating to the right or to the left for a previous drop when it didn't matter. This one's important here, just to get up around, a little bit underneath. It's the quickest way through. You want to be rotating before you get there. I don't rotate, I choose to pull up instead. And then I'm not lined up for this section here. I'm still fighting my way through quickly, making sure I'm rotated properly for that checkpoint. That back to me mentioning that your left wing wants to be below 9 o'clock. And this section again is just from the Rickard Memorial. It's just about stringing them together as quickly as possible, not letting your speed drop below 270 at the lowest. Nice and tight there. Just make sure my rotation's right. Cutting that one pretty close, pre-turning, lining myself up to take the nice hard turn through this gate. Keeping my speed up, never dropping below 270. Quickly running a little bit of positive G's here, but just prepping for the next corner. Here we go, just lining everything up. Like I said, it took me probably 3 hours to get everything properly. I would get one section right, then I get the last section right, and crash all over the place. It's a very technical track, and that winning is going to come down to being good on all sections. You don't have to be a hero in every section, as long as you're quick on the average. This one, making a little bit of jerky turns, but I'm still pretty quick. See, gotta remember to keep some right rotation, to keep my left wing up as you're making those left lateral turns. But this one brings me perfectly in line with this gate. Slam it down. For the drop, for the rotation, here's a good example of pre-turning. I'm already turning before I see that gate, before I'm through that gate. That's a nice quick lap. 2:35, 34. It's pretty quick. So this lap here, kinda messed up the beginning, so just wanted to make it around properly. Just do an example. That corner, pre-turning, kinda want to be up more into the left for this gate, but I make it through. This one I'm way too low. Way too high coming through there, very bad, had to fight hard for that. But I did pre-turn for that one, pre-rotate. So lined up my left wing with the corner of the building. Yeah, that's exactly where you want to be pointing as you come out of there. A little bit more rotation, but it's good. So I got my left wing under 9 o'clock to make it through that one, to line up perfectly with this one. Just a straight run through that section. And on through to here. So, like I mentioned before, this is exactly like the Rickard Memorial. So you should be well practiced with this by now. This one, keep your left wing above 9 o'clock so that when you make your lateral turn, you're pointed well. See, I'm not even high enough there after that turn. But I correct for it so that I can pre-turn through this last dive here. My ship pointed exactly where I want to go, right at the next gate. little bit of positive G's as a little sloppy of a turn there, but still through it. Yep, this is exactly where you want to be lined up for this section. Straight on through there. Maybe not that tight now. It felt a little tight. Perfect. This one, I believe I try to keep a right rotation while laterally turning. I think you can kind of see it in the way that the ship sort of leans. Yeah, it's a small right rotation. It's very, almost unnoticeable, but not keeping it hard enough. When you keep it hard enough, you should be able to keep your wings at the right level so you can make it through those checkpoints, make it through the corkscrew without messing up too much. Just a sloppy turn there, but still through nonetheless. We finish off with a nice pre-turn, straight down the backstretch. You're gonna watch these circular things with the sticks coming out of the bottom of them, kind of like from Star Wars. Those antennae coming out the bottom are not small breakable antennae. They'll bust your ship up, so avoid those completely. Other than that, that's pretty much all we can go over. Go back and watch the races of the 4 boxes at one time, and hopefully have a better race than I'm about to right now. And that's it for the Defford Link, so thanks for watching.